March 27, 2018 meeting of the Oshkosh Common Council. Would the city clerk please take the roll?
Palmieri. Allison Osby.
Here.
Herman.
Here.
Yansky.
Here.
Rousey.
Here.
Heck.
Here.
Cummings.
Here.
Present 6.
Would you please rise while Deputy Mayor Herman leads us in the invocation, then our students will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
We are mindful of the blessings of liberty that we have in this nation. May our decisions tonight improve the quality of our life in our city and for our residences.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank our students for leading us in the Pledge of Allegiance. I have something for each of you, so if you turn, please, box in the corner. Power helps. Okay, I'll start with you, Jasmine. Your name, where you go to school, your age, and your favorite subject.
My name is Jasmine Syed. I'm 10 years old. My favorite subject is social studies. I go to school at Words Academy.
Thank you. And Jasmine, we have a certificate of appreciation for you. And Ben, the same questions, your name, your age, where you go to school, and your favorite subject.
My name is Ben. I'm 10 years old. I go to Lourdes Academy, and my favorite subject is science.
Okay, thank you. And here's a certificate of appreciation for you. Now, because it's nice out, I would suggest you probably want to go home and be outside rather than sit in here. So thank you. Next, we have a proclamation. So would John Zarate, our chief building official, come forward? So do I.
What's your favorite subject?
Whereas the city of Oshkosh and the state of Wisconsin continues to address the critical issues of safety, energy efficiency, water conservation, and resilience in the built environment that affect our citizens both in everyday life and in times of natural disaster, give us confidence that our structures are safe and sound. And whereas our confidence achieved through the devotion of vigilant guardians, building safety and fire prevention officials, architects, engineers, builders, tradespeople, laborers, and others in the construction industry who work year-round to ensure the safe construction of buildings. And whereas Building Safety Month is sponsored by the International Code Council to remind the public about the critical role of our communities, largely unknown guardians of public safety are local code officials who assure us of safe, efficient, and livable buildings. And whereas resilient communities start with building codes, the theme of our Building Safety Month 2018 encourages all Americans to raise awareness of the importance of building safety and resilient construction, fire prevention, disaster mitigation, water safety and conservation, energy efficiency, and new technology in the construction industry. Building Safety Month 2018 encourages appropriate steps everyone can take to ensure that the places where we live, learn, work, worship, and play are safe and sustainable, and recognize that countless lives have been saved due to the implementation of safety codes by local and state agencies. And whereas each year in observance of Building Safety Month, Americans are asked to consider projects to improve building safety and sustainability at home and in the community, and to acknowledge the essential service provided by all of us, by local and state building departments, fire prevention bureaus, and federal agencies in protecting lives and property. Now, therefore, I, Steve Cummings, Mayor of the City of Oshkosh, do hereby proclaim the month of May 2018 as Building Safety Month. Accordingly, I encourage our citizens to participate in Building Safety Month activities. John?
Thank you, Mayor Cummings. And thank you, the rest of the council, City of Oshkosh, that actually promotes my job and what we do. You've approved codes for the citizens of Oshkosh, whether it be for someone building a new house, someone building a new shopping center, a new school. Also for any of the rental properties in the city of Oshkosh, you've made those properties safe for the tenants with some recent rules that we put into place. And so I just thank you for your help in making awareness of this and letting the public know that come to us as code officials. We're here to help you. Thank you.
It's the start of great things, I think, for Oshkosh. And I've lived here all my life and, wouldn't live anywhere else.
There is some momentum that's going on right now that we cannot stop. If we just keep rolling, we're on the map and it's just going to continue to grow.
For us to continue to progress, we have to really start thinking about the types of people that we are attracting and retaining in our community.
We need to create a place that people want to stay and want to live to get that talent.
I don't want the progress to stop. I want people to think moving forward, like how can we be more progressive?
As long as we continue to move forward, we're moving in the right direction.
We have so much going on. I know that we give ourselves credit for all the good things that's happening.
Oshkosh always has something going on all over the city, so just having all of those things to do, it makes Oshkosh a destination.
There is kind of that Midwest nice and the Wisconsin nice, but there's Oshkosh nice. And I think people are saying, we want you to come to Oshkosh now. We are ready for you.
That was the opening.
You gotta turn off that other mic.
That was the opening video to the State of the City address. And what's important, this was totally produced by our staff internally at Oshkosh Media. So I want to thank John Urban, Emily Springstock, Scott Williams, and Jake Tim for this great production. This is all done in-house, so thank you guys for a great program. Next, we have a public hearing which requires 3 readings before we vote, and it's Resolution 18-145. Approve final resolution, special assessments, contract number 18-04, paving, sidewalk, driveway, and utilities, first local street contract paving program. A, Court Street, Fox River to Washington Avenue. B, Otter Avenue, State Street to railroad tracks. Washington Avenue, North Main Street to Broad Street. Osceola Street, Pearl Avenue to 150 feet southwest of High Avenue. Jefferson Street, Washington Avenue to 230 feet north of Washington Avenue. State Street, Otter Avenue to Washington Avenue. Second reading, Resolution 18-145. Approve final resolution, special assessments, contract number 18-04, paving, sidewalk, driveway, and utilities, first local street concrete paving program. A, Court Street, Fox River to Washington Avenue. B, Otter Avenue, State Street to railroad tracks. C, Washington Avenue, North Main Street to Broad Street. D, Osceola Street, Pearl Avenue to 150 feet southwest of High Avenue. E, Jefferson Street, Washington Avenue to 230 degrees north of Washington Avenue. State Street, Otter Avenue to Washington Avenue. Third and final reading, Resolution 18-145. Approve final resolution, special assessments, contract number 18-04, paving, sidewalk, driveway, and utilities, first local street concrete paving program. A, Court Street, Fox River to Washington Avenue. Otter Street, State Street to railroad tracks. Washington Avenue, North Main Street to Broad Street. Osceola Street, Pearl Avenue to 150 feet southwest of High Avenue, Jefferson Street, Washington Avenue to 230 feet north of Washington Avenue, State Street, Otter Avenue to Washington Avenue. Third and final reading. And did anyone register to speak to this?
No one is registered.
Okay, I'll bring it back to the council for a motion and a second.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? Please take the roll.
Allison Osby,
Aye.
Herman,
Aye.
Pansky,
Aye.
Krause,
Aye.
Heck,
Aye.
Cummings,
Aye.
carried 6.
So we have citizen statements to council. Statements are limited to 5 minutes, must address items that are not listed on the council meeting agenda, are limited to issues having an impact on the city of Oshkosh, and the common council may address at a future meeting, and must not include endorsements of any candidates or other electioneering. Did anyone register to speak?
Yes, Ann Peralta, 1746 Iowa Street.
Up here, please.
Welcome.
I'm Ann Peralta, and I live on a street that is busy, and I hear speeders that go back and forth from 20th to wherever they go, and I can hear them through my door and my windows, and my parents don't acknowledge it, and yet I do, because I've got kids and dogs and neighbors that walk animals and watch their kids play around the yard or whatever, and I just worry about the safety of their well-being, and just encourage that there should be some camera or something there, because I've been bugging the police department. I'm thinking enough is enough. I mean, I want it to stop. And I think that's a major issue, because safety is more priority than well-being of people and the pets. And God, I hate to see a kid get hit and all of a sudden you guys got a lawsuit on your hands. And that's one thing I really want to avoid. That's my major issue.
Okay.
Thank you. Thanks for bringing that to our attention.
And do you have the address?
Yes, I do.
The street, okay.
1746 Iowa.
Okay,
And it's
thank-
on Iowa Street, is that correct? You're concerned about Iowa Street?
Yes, that's the major street that I live on, and I can hear it constantly, either 80 or 60 or 50 or God knows how fast they go. But I can hear them, and I can even hear them when I play a video game, and it's just annoying to hear and nothing's being done.
Is there police presence in the neighborhood with traffic speed?
They only do it like every once in a while, but not constantly, because they're very limited of how many officers are on each shift. Apparently I heard there's like 10 on first or 3 on another shift. It's like, why can't we have something structured, like a camera, like a red light camera or a stationary camera, going both ways? I looked into a camera and it's like $3,000 for a camera that shoots the the license plate of everybody that speeds, like a speed camera.
Would you like to say something, Fitz?
Yes, thank you for bringing this forward, Ms. Peralta. We have our staff meeting tomorrow, and we'll certainly share this information with the representative from the police department.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Pam, did anyone register to speak?
No one else is registered.
I will move on now to consent agenda items. These items are of a routine administrative nature that are voted on by the council in a single roll call vote. Staff recommends approval of all items. Any member of the public or common council may request that an item be removed from the consent agenda for discussion. Did anyone register to
No one is registered.
bring it back to the council for a motion in a second?
So moved.
Discussion? I do have one question, and that is Resolution 18-147, authorize submittal of Department of Natural Resources stewardship grant for Lake Shore Riverwalk. Ray?
This grant is, we're working with the Economic Development Department as well as the Planning Services to apply for a grant to leverage the $600,000 donation that we received from Oshkosh Corporation to complete that section of the Riverwalk Trail, essentially from the Wyowash Trail to the end of Pinocchio Street. So we're hoping to receive some DNR grant funding to help with that construction of that project.
Thank you. I see no other council member wishing to speak. So would you please take the roll?
Allison Osby? Aye. Herman?
Aye.
Pansky?
Aye.
Krause?
Aye.
Peck?
Aye.
Cummings?
Aye.
Carried 6.
There were items removed from the consent agenda, so we'll move on to pending ordinances. The first is ordinance 18-173, approve official mapping for the extension of North Westfield Street north of Oshkosh Avenue. The Plan Commission recommends approval. Pam, did anyone register?
No one is registered.
Bring it back to the council for a motion and a second.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? Would you please take the roll?
Allison Osby?
Aye.
Herman?
Aye.
Pansky?
Aye.
Krause?
Aye.
Peck?
Aye.
Cummings?
Aye.
Carried 6.
Next, we have ordinance 18-174, approve closure of Otter Avenue from State Street to Broad Street, Washington Avenue from North Main Street to Broad Street, CP Avenue at the intersection of Court Street, Wagoo Avenue at the intersection of Court Street, and modify the truck routes to include Irving Avenue from North Main Street to Bone Street. Did anyone register?
No one is registered.
I'll bring it back to the council for a motion and a second.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? Would you please take the roll?
Allison Osby?
Aye.
Herman?
Aye.
Pansky?
Aye.
Krause?
Aye.
Peck?
Aye.
Cummings?
Aye.
Carried 6.
Ordinance 18-175, approve zone change from 2-flat residential, 10 district with planned development overlay and central mixed-use district to central mixed-use district with planned development overlay, 576 through 582 North Main Street. The Plan Commission recommends approval. Did anyone register to speak?
No one is registered.
I'll bring it back to the council for a motion and a second.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? Discussion? I see no one wishing to speak, so would you please take the roll?
Allison Osby?
Aye.
Herman?
Aye.
Pansky?
Aye.
Krause?
Aye.
Peck?
Aye.
Cummings?
Aye.
Carried 6.
Ordinance 18-176, amend Chapter 30 zoning ordinance to delete Section 30-9241, parens D, close parens, 3, close parens, D, close parens, Section 30-241, parens E, close parens, 3, close parens, D, close parens, and Section 30-241, parens F, close parens, 2, close parens, C, close parens, regarding metal roofs prohibited, and create Section 30-241, parens G, close parens, to permit standing seam metal roofing in single and two-family residential applications. Plan Commission recommends approval. Do we have anyone that registered to speak?
Yes. Mary McPhee, 1216 Cedar Street.
I would just like to say for the record that I am wholly in support of the standing seam metal roof ordinance. It is a smart way to go from a sustainability and a general community perspective. And I want to also, on the record, thank the Planning Commission for all the hard work they did to revise that ordinance. Thank you.
Did anyone else register?
I have no one else.
Okay, thank you. Bring it back to the council for a motion and a second.
So moved.
Discussion? I see no one wishing to speak. Would you please take the roll?
Allison Osby?
Aye.
Herman?
Aye.
Pansky?
Aye.
Krause?
Aye.
Peck?
Aye.
Cummings?
Aye.
Carried 6.
We have one new ordinance, and there will be no formal action taken at this meeting, and it's ordinance 18-177. Approve zone change from institutional parens I, close parens, to corporate business park with planned development, parens CPB-PD, close parens, outlot 1, a certified survey map 7330, Lakeshore Golf Course Plan Commission recommends approval. Did anyone register to speak to this?
I have no one registered.
We'll move on to new resolutions. The first is Resolution 18-178, adopt 2018 City of Oshkosh Comprehensive Outdoor Recreation Plan. Advisory Parks Board and Plan Commission recommend approval. Pam, did you?
I have no one registered.
I'll bring it back to the council for a motion and a second.
So moved.
Discussion. Deputy Mayor Herman?
Thank you, Mayor. Mr. Mauer, you want to just highlight some of the things that are in our new comprehensive outdoor plan?
Sure. First, I'll step back and just give the citizens a little history on the process that we went through. Back in 2011, we updated our comprehensive outdoor recreation plan, which is referred to as our CORP. And that plan is good for 5 years, which keeps us eligible for DNR grant funding. So every 5 years, we're required to update this document. What it also does for our department in the city, it gives us the chance to look at projects that we've completed over the last 5 years, but then also plan out for the next 5 to 20 years on the projects that we want to complete. So what we did, we started back in February of 2017, hiring Rettler Corporation to assist us with the update. We started receiving citizen input. We had a citizen survey online in the months of August and September where we had about 650 responses from citizens. We also had citizen input meetings specifically for the Corp, but also at the Advisory Parks Board meetings. In January of 2018, the Advisory Parks Board unanimously recommended approval of this document, and on March 20th, the Plan Commission unanimously recommended approval. What we do internally, we utilize this document as we prepare all of our operating and capital improvement budgets every year. What we've done throughout the document is we prioritize, each park has different projects, and we prioritize those as low, medium, or high. The high projects are ones that we hope to complete within the next 5 years, depending on funding and potential sponsorships and grants that we might receive. And then it goes down to the medium, which we hope to do in 5 to 10 years, and the low priority, 10 years and out. Some of the highlights, I think, that you'll see in the document, we continually hear from citizens, maintain what you currently have. And I think the council has heard that the last number of years. What we've been trying to do is upgrade our restroom facilities, whether it's a new restroom facility or a renovation of our existing facilities. Excuse me. Updating our athletic fields, looking at all of our facilities and making sure that the tennis courts and those things are maintained. What we're also starting to hear is that we are deficient in parkland. I believe the council and the Plan Commission and Parks Board heard that throughout the process dealing with Oshkosh Corporation and the Lakeshore site. This document gives you more information regarding our deficiency based on national standards. So I think that's an area that we have to have some considerable discussion and looking into, excuse me again, as the economy starts to turn around and we start to see more subdivisions in the area. What that allows us to do is work with the developers to, they need to dedicate parkland for future residents moving into those subdivisions. So I think as the economy has started to change, we've started to see some parkland dedication taking place. So I think that's going to help us to acquire some additional lands as well. Those are the main highlights, unless there's specific questions that the council may have for me.
Councilmember Pansky has a question.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. Just a couple of comments, and I do have a question. Just for example, on some of the funding that you have, I'm on, I don't know if you have the plan with you. I'm on page 86 here regarding Mary Jewel Park specifically. Is this I believe there is some community foundation or fundraising activities going on with this particular project? Just for example.
Not the Mary Jewel one, the Rainbow Park one.
Okay,
yes.
Rainbow Park. I'm just wondering if there is a breakdown in here on the funding sources, like how we do in the CIP when we do indicate that there are grants available or other sources of funding, if that would be broken down in here specifically, or if that would come later on with those specific development plans.
Correct. Once we start putting them into our 5-year CIP, that gets them more onto our radar screen, and we can start to identify if there's potential grants or assistance from community organizations or user groups or the community foundation. So once we get them into our 5-year CIP, that's when you'll start to see some of their alternative funding sources.
Okay. And then on page 96, we cite Menominee Park and Rainbow Park as well. And it just says on here to refer to their approved master plans in regards to those. Do we ever put anything in there on where a person is to find those master plans if they don't have them specifically?
We reference those here, and we'll do the same thing. We have a specific plan for Menominee Park, Rainbow Park, and South Park. They have specific master plans for themselves. And those are all located on the city website. Go to the Parks Department. This document, as well as all of those other master plans, are on the city website. The library has a hard copy, the clerk's office receives a hard copy, but anytime we approve these, they get inserted onto our city website as well.
Okay, I just don't know if we should maybe put that in here as well, so that it's easier for somebody to find that information. If this is the only document they're looking at, they might wonder where to go.
Okay.
Just a couple of comments then. The surveys I thought were fantastic. It was very, very easy to read, well done on that. I think my favorite part, though, was the history portion. Shout out to the League of Women's Voters and the Oshkosh Public Museum. I mean, well done. That was, if you're going to read anything in here, I think the history section is probably it was great. So well done.
And we do have a number of historical signs out in those parks that we worked with the League of Women Voters on a number of years ago. And if you go to the city website, again, on the Parks Department, you can pull those up individually on the one of our interactive maps showing where those sites are.
I did not know that. Good, thank you. Well done.
I see no other council member wishing to speak, so would you please take the roll?
Allison Osby?
Aye.
Herman?
Aye.
Piansky?
Aye.
Krause?
Aye.
Heck?
Aye.
Cummings?
Aye.
Carried 6.
Next, I have Resolution 18-179, approve specific implementation plan for amendment for construction of a parking facility, 576 through 582 North Main Street. Plan Commission recommends approval. Okay, did anyone sign up?
No one is registered.
Okay, I'll bring it back to the council for a motion and a second.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Councilmember Peck.
Thank you. While it says parking facility, this is just actually putting a parking lot that is, it's paving over something that is already a gravel parking lot, correct?
Correct. Years ago, a non-conforming gravel parking lot was put in. The applicant wishes to split that parcel into 2 properties, which necessitated the need for the zoning district change to bring in a cohesive district and then bring in the implementation plan, because that parking lot being a very tight site was a little tricky to accommodate. They brought in the PD so they could pave it, put in a new parking area to service those 2 buildings.
So it's not a parking facility, it's a
It's not a
parking lot.
structure, it's just a
Yeah,
parking
yeah.
lot.
Good, just so everyone understands. Thank you.
I see no one wishing to speak, so would you please take the roll?
Allison Osby?
Aye.
Herman?
Aye.
Piansky?
Aye.
Krause?
Aye.
Peck?
Aye.
Cummings?
Aye.
Carried 6.
There is nothing under future agenda items that the council may want, so we will move on to the second opportunity for citizens to speak to the council. Before I read through it, did anyone register to speak? Yeah.
No one is registered.
Okay. We'll move on to council member announcements and statements. The first is 39, which is National Alliance on Mental Health, in parentheses NAMI, close parentheses 5K for mental health and suicide awareness, May 5th. Council member Palmieri was going to speak to this. She is not here tonight, so we'll put it on the next agenda. Next, we have Unity and Community, and this is a program city-sponsored that I've been working on for the last year and a half with the university. It'll be May 5 from 11 to 3 at the Leach Amphitheater. And what this is, it's a really opportunity for the community show and the diversity of this community. We are a very diverse community, but we seem to all, I'll use the term, hang out in our own pockets. This is our effort to bring these different cultures together in the community. It's an educational program. It's very family-focused. A lot of educational opportunities for children. We've sort of taken the liberty of creating our own 7 continents. So we've got 7 areas of the world where there'll be information on those parts of the world. We'll have the foods from those worlds. We'll have music, dancing, customs of those people. It should be a very exciting 4 hours. It is free, and there'll be opportunity to sample the different foods of these countries. And we've asked all those people supplying food to make it authentic to their country. Don't Americanize it. And there'll also be, we plan on having pizza and burgers there for kids, because kids aren't probably that apt to taste some of the spicy food. But put it on your calendar. It should be just a great event. and we hope to continue this from year to year. This is our first effort, but we're very excited about it. We've had a lot of companies, business in the city offer to sponsor it. Everything from small businesses to the biggest corporations in town and in between. So it'll be a great event for the community. And now we have me again. It is the Southwest Rotary Recognition Award, and I think we're going to show it on the screen, but I'll read it as well. This is in recognition of the Bungalow District of Main Street by the Oshkosh Southwest Rotary for the outstanding beautification of our community. Members of Oshkosh Southwest Rotary and the community of Oshkosh recognize the city for your foresight and vision of a more beautiful Oshkosh. And this was given in particular for what we call the historic Bungalow District on North Main Street. And I'm just going to do a bit of a commercial for what the Landmarks Commission in the city does do, but the beautification of the Bungalow District would not have happened without the help of the Oshkosh Landmarks Commission. Through its efforts, this section of North Main Street was placed on the state register for historic places and the National Register for Historic Places. And the significance of this is it ensures that an area is entitled to the benefits and protections of the National Historic Preservation Act of 1966, protecting an area from federal or state projects. And unlike the construction or reconstruction of Jackson Street a few years ago, which lost terraces, trees, and other amenities, we were able to retain the character of this section of North Main Street, roughly from New York to Murdoch, which meant streetlights were appropriate to the period of the neighborhood, terraces were maintained, and trees were planted. Maybe the trees may be small now, but it ensures that we'll have an urban tree canopy in the future. So when communities take these efforts, the historic designations, there are tremendous long-term benefits. So, again, thank you to the Southwest Rotary for the honor, but I think it's very important to this community. And Caroline, Councilmember Pansky, you would like to make a few comments?
Yes, just a couple of quick announcements. Beginning April 8th, running through the 14th is National Library Week. Using your library card, you have discounts and promotions at several businesses here in Oshkosh. For more details, you can go to their website or stop in at the library. On April 9th, right here in this room at 4 p.m., there will be a public input session regarding the 9th Avenue and South Park corridors. This is an opportunity to join with Bike and Ped and Traffic Review to get the public's input on what they want to see in these corridors as well. So join us then. That's all I got. Thank you.
Thank you. Next on the agenda is city manager announcements and statements. The first is the April 3rd, 2018 spring election polling site location changes. Pam, you'd like to?
I would like to. Next Tuesday, April 3rd, is our spring election, and I just want to remind the voters that a couple of our polling sites have changed. Washington School now votes at Trinity Lutheran Church at 370 Bowen Street. That's District 5. District 6, those voters at Jefferson now vote across the street at First English. The address is 1013 Minnesota. Our next district is 8. The voters used to vote at Franklin. They now vote at the Sacred Heart site, the Leanna Hall. That address is 1025 West 5th Avenue. And then the final change was for District 10. The voters from Carl Traeger, they now go to Living Water on 1585 South Oakwood. If voters have questions, they can always visit the city website or the state website, or they can give the clerk's office a call, and the number is 236-5011. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Any questions from council?
You do need your ID, correct?
Yes, you do need to provide ID.
Next, we have Oshkosh Media Awards, and Fitz, you would like to say a few things?
I would. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. We're very proud of Oshkosh Media. They recently were informed that they will be receiving 19 total awards at the Wisconsin Community Media Best of the Midwest Media Fest. And it's just a tremendous amount of recognition. They're receiving 8 Excellence Awards. Those are the highest honors in the media competition. They're receiving 5 achievement awards, 5 merit awards. And then there's also going to be an award presented to the Friends of Oshkosh Community Media, just for their significant community partnership. And that's how the award is titled too. It's a significant community partnership award. They've been supporters of Oshkosh Media for years and years, and we're very grateful for that. So also another interesting bit of information associated with these awards. The Best of the Midwest Media Fest will take place this year here in Oshkosh. So it's going to be held at the Oshkosh Convention Center on May 11th and 12th. So we're looking forward to it.
Thank you.
I don't really have anything to add for item number 44 regarding the Oshkosh Corp update and public improvements. So that's all I have, Mr. Mayor.
Okay. And I think these awards signify the quality of work they do, and we saw that quality at the beginning of the meeting with the video they produced for State of the City. So we're very proud of them.
Well, Fitz, thanks for your guest appearance here this evening.
Thank you.
It was awful short.
Wow.
It was.
Yeah.
We run an efficient meeting.
Yeah.
No offense to Mark.
Can we have you back?
Yeah.
Anytime. Anytime.
We need these kinds of meetings in the summer, when there's more things to do.
All right, I will turn it over now to Deputy Mayor Herman, who will do a motion to go into a closed session.
Thank you, Mayor. I move the council convene in a closed session to discuss bargaining options, strategies, parameters, and terms related to the negotiation of a possible amendment to the development agreement with Fox Valley Pro Basketball, Inc. for property located at 1212 South Main Street pursuant to Section 19.85, Parent 1, Parent E of the Wisconsin State Statutes where competitive bargaining reasons require closed session.
Second.
Would you please take the roll?
Allison Osby? Aye. Herman?
Aye.
Hansky?
Aye.
Krause?
Aye.
Pack?
Aye.
Cummings?
Aye.
Carried 6.
And now would like a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Adjourned.